pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lasky.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Keck.
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
DPW Director.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Here.
Police Chief.
Here.
Fire Chief. And City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you. Disclosure of conflict of interest. Any council member with a conflict of interest regarding an agenda item should disclose at this time. Anybody? No. Public hearings, we have none. Citizens comment on agenda-related items. Any citizens with correspondence to be distributed to council should provide items to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting or after the meeting has adjourned, limited to 5 minutes. Anybody? Consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval, any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, payroll, invoices, consideration of a temporary activity permit for Echo His Love at 525 Michael Street, consideration of Echo His Love Safe Harbor to hold homelessness awareness walk, and consideration of the 2026 Run the Town Pink 5K and 1 mile walk. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
And Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Now we will have a introduction of Officer Luke Trombley.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Officer Luke Trombley. Before I tell you about myself, I just want to thank you for the opportunity that you had given me in sponsoring me at West Shore College Police Academy. It was a great experience, and it really prepared me for this field and serving our community in the best way possible. I was born in Midland, Michigan. That's where I graduated high school. Went up to college at Northern Michigan University and majored in criminal justice, minored in psychology. After graduating, I really wanted to end up in the West Michigan area. I saw a job opening in the nonprofit world here in Manistee, and I took it. And I've been here for just over 5 years. And so here I am. I think my first interview with the police force was just over a year ago. So I finally made it to this point. So thank you again, and that's who I am.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, consideration of approving change order number 3 for the River Street Streetscape Phase 1 RAP Grant Project. The construction has commenced on Phase 1 Streetscape project. Several unforeseen items have been encountered and modifications to the project have been requested to support the Manistee County Community Foundation's renovation to the Triangle Park area. While change orders to construction projects are routine, if they exceed 10% of the contract price or over $50,000, the city purchasing policy requires city council approval. The city DDA portion, $23,304.92, will be recovered by the project contingency fund. The balance of $78,817.35 will be reimbursed to the city from the Manistee County Community Foundation. At this time, council can take action to approve the change order number 3 in the amount of $102,122.27 and amend the budget accordingly. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
If I may, I'd like to start off by saying that this change order, as stated, includes a lot of items typical to a construction contract, as well as additional enhancements funded by the Manistee Community Foundation. That is in the right-of-way, and I support and recommend the proposed changes along with the DDA. The foundation's contribution, you'll kind of see in some renderings, it's kind of bringing that vision to life that's been in several of the studies to date. And so appreciate the foundation's willingness to fund the additional improvements that strengthen the overall project.
This was, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
This was brought to our attention previously, right?
It was, yep.
Okay, so it's not a surprise.
So,
Everybody good? Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of awarding refurbishment work for the River Street Fountain rehabilitation. The city has been working with the Manistee County Community Foundation as it renovates the Triangle Park area near River, Water, and Pine Street. A portion of the project includes the complete restoration of the city fountain located within the park. To support this effort, a quote has been received from Robinson Iron for the full rehabilitation of cast iron fountain. At this time, council could take action to approve refurbishment work in the amount of $59,500 with Robinson Iron, amend the fiscal year 2027 capital improvement budget, and approve a loan for the general fund to the capital improvement fund for the project with a 3% interest rate until it's paid. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I guess I'm glad this will be done soon while the other work is being done. And you came up with a creative way to finance it, so.
My only question is, how much is the maintenance gonna cost after this is refurbished? Like, what's the maintenance look like since we are taking care of the maintenance?
I couldn't give you an exact number, but I could tell you that compared to what it costs to maintain it right now, it should reduce the maintenance cost substantially. Every year, we're trying to power wash it. There's a picture up on the screen. If you drive down there now and look at it while it's dry, the power washing isn't going to clean that the way it needs to be cleaned. If you look at the surrounding pool, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I put in my memo, we've had several pump failures. Those cost, $1,000, $2,000 each time that happens. We know that we've got a leak inside it right now. Last time we had to actually cut the concrete basin open to get into the guts of it, if you will. One of the things that I think we're very fortunate is that when the foundation engaged integrated architecture, they were able to get in touch with Chicago Fountain, who came up and looked at this last fall and had a complete handle on, this is the way it was designed originally. This is why you're having all of these problems. And so what they're proposing for the complete rehab should save in energy, should save in the water consumption of it, should save in the annual maintenance, the weekly maintenance. So I think this is going to be a very, very positive project. The city's portion and what's before you tonight is just the fountain, just the ornamental iron itself. And then the new pool and the new basin and other things will be supported by the Community Foundation's renovation of that Triangle Park.
It was always stated, and whether it was true or not, the rumor was that it was originally constructed like for an interior use fountain, and so this will remedy that. The problems I always heard was because it's outside, of course.
Yeah, when the streetscape was done, it was designed by a landscape architectural firm. The company I worked for did the, kind of like what Spicer does, they did the utilities, we did the streets and most of that infrastructure. But my understanding from after it was constructed, that it was intended to be an indoor fountain. There's no system in that to treat the water, so DPW staff have just tried to figure it out over the years. They add some bromine tablets to it or some chlorine when it needs to be shocked. It really, I mean, there's literally what controls the water in the current fountain is the same mechanism that's in the back of your toilet. It's just a float system, and when it needs water, it just draws water. And so, 3-4 years ago, we had a leak in that fountain, and it ran through 1 million gallons of water in 1 month. We've got different technology on the meters now, so that if it's leaking, we can avoid that. But it's a constant maintenance battle for us.
So we drain it in the winter, correct?
Yes.
So they're gonna allow for easy, quick, I mean, they're in the south, so they understand our winters that.
Yeah, Chicago Fountain said that these fountains, there's many of them that were made, they're functioning all over the United States. They actually went back to the company that made it. They're going to refurbish it. But then all the ancillary systems, there's going to be a water softening system. There's going to be a chemical treatment system to keep, bacteria and algae from growing. So there's going to be a lot of modern things that'll make this fountain operate much nicer, keep it cleaner. And Chicago Fountain said that it absolutely can be drained and winterized much easier than the way we do it now and survive the winters. The lighting system still can function during the winter though, without water.
Is there a warranty on the work or on the?
That I'm not aware of.
That's what I was just gonna ask, is if we're pretty confident that this is gonna take care of all of our problems. I mean, oftentimes we repair, and I don't mean we as a city, but, you know, even on our homes, we repair, and sometimes it's hardly worth the battle.
Absolutely. So the first memo that I wrote last month, we have been trying to figure this out. I started budgeting money several years ago in the capital improvement fund, knowing that this fountain needed some help. Wasn't sure how to get that help. I think we're there. I think we've got the right experts. I think we've got the original manufacturer that knows how to renovate the ornamental fountain itself. And so I'm very confident that we've got the right team to make this as good as it can be.
Anybody else?
Well, it needs to be done. I mean, that's probably the most photographed. You have a bride down there.
Yeah.
And a wedding party standing in front of a derelict fountain. It's not the best look, so I think we should.
That's a leaning fountain.
Yeah, so I think this is good.
Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan, Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of Budget Amendment 2026-3 for fiscal year end June 30th, 2026. The City of Manistee is required by state law to ensure that the actual expenditures do not exceed budgeted amounts. Over the course of the current fiscal year, unanticipated and unbudgeted events and/or council-approved expenditures have or will occur. The proposed budget amendments addresses expenditures associated with these events to ensure compliance with the state statutes regarding appropriations. At this time, council could take action to adopt Budget Amendment 2026-3 for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Or would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of ZB LLC DBA North Channel to receive a approval for a social district permit. The Manistee Downtown Development Authority DDA would like to request support and approval for ZB LLC DBA North Channel to receive a social district permit. This will allow ZB LLC DBA North Channel to sell adult beverages that can be consumed in the identified social district area. At this time, council will take action to support and approve ZB LLC DBA North Channel to join the existing Manistee Social District. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of ordinance 26-02 to amend chapter 460 golf carts of the City of Manistee, Michigan codified ordinances. The City of Manistee ordinance chapter 460 golf carts does not reflect the city's current schedule of fees. The implementation of an administrative fee for the insurance of golf cart permits is being added to the ordinance. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce ordinance 26-02. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Now, is there, what is the fee we're charging
It's $25.
for?
And it was,
$25 registration fee. Yeah, the decision was made a couple of years ago to update our schedule of fees. However, we didn't update the ordinance, it was an oversight, so we're just updating the ordinance to match our new schedule, our new fee of schedule of fees, excuse me. So,
And then to register, they have to have how much insurance? Or just proof of insurance or?
proof of insurance, yeah.
But not, there's not a amount of insurance?
I don't think the ordinance states that, and we've never required that, so. This is just a minor change to the ordinance that, to reflect our current fees.
And we do see, I mean, it's the registration says that it's supposed to be a licensed driver, 16 or above, and that
Correct.
isn't always the case. Do we,
No.
what do we do if we see what is the police, if they see an underage person driving?
Well, we would enforce a traffic stop and take enforcement action. We lead with education. But understand, there's hundreds of golf carts in the city of Manistee. And so enforcement is certainly a challenge.
Yes.
And so it's important when we have these ordinances and approve these things that we have an appropriate mechanism to enforce the ordinance. So we haven't had any significant incidents with our golf carts, thankfully, because of the reduction of speed and because of the enforcement we do have. So, yeah.
Thank you, Chief. Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of Manistee Downtown Development Authority bylaw change at its June 10th, 2026 meeting. The Manistee Downtown Development Authority, DDA, approved its amendment to its bylaws to allow for the appointment of a city council member to the DDA. The amendment was considered in response to the recent application submitted by a current council member to fill a vacant seat on the DDA board. The changes ensure that the bylaws provide flexibility for such an appointment moving forward while supporting the continued coordination between the DDA and the city of Manistee. At this time, council could take action to approve the amended bylaws. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I think it's a good idea. There should be someone, and all the commissions should have representation and bring it back to the council. So I think that's a good idea, collaboration.
Well, I guess I really didn't understand it, because the memo said flexibility, but a council member can be on the DDA now, and it's almost like you're making it mandatory. And so I guess I don't understand where the flexibility piece comes in.
So there's a state law, and it talks about there can be a chief executive officer on the DDA.
Yeah, because you're already on.
Right, and then, but in order to have like the mayor on it, it needs to specify that you have to say, and the mayor or a council member, and we kind of crafted language working with the DDA that allows flexibility that the mayor or a council member can be on the DDA.
Okay, so then that position, like at the organizational meeting in November, I think it's November, the mayor will appoint somebody to that position every year?
I think the idea would be that if there was an interested member, that they could submit an application, and then it would be, and it did keep that the manager, the chief executive would recommend one to council, and then council would approve. So kind of talking through that, it wouldn't be a mayoral appointment, it would still be a manager appointment, but based on interest. So that
So
was,
it wouldn't be mandatory, basically?
Right,
You wouldn't
it-
have to have one?
it just opens up the possibility.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, that answers my
Okay.
question. Thank you.
Laura, would you please take roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Now we will have a report from Ed Bradford.
Thanks for having me tonight, Council. I've got 3 different departments to report on, so I'll try to keep it brief as I run through it. First, we'll talk about the Finance Treasurer Office. I want to really commend the folks that I work with down in our office. It's a really great group of people. We work very well together. And as you can see, there's a lot of experience there, 64 years total. We are going to be having some changes come December when our deputy clerk and payroll person Laura retires, but I'm very happy for her because she's a hard worker and she really deserves that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Just some of our departmental responsibilities. We answer a lot of questions because people tend to come to the clerk or treasurer windows when they don't know where to go, or they have questions about other departments sometimes. We receive all city revenue and invest all the cash for the city. We pay all the bills. we arrange any bonding or financing. There will be a bond issue coming up sometime in '26, so just put that on your sneak preview of future things. We do the budgeting in conjunction with the city manager's office, do all the bookkeeping and accounting, we do the annual audit, any financial analysis and financial reporting. And then some of the ancillary responsibilities are the liaison for the IT and networking. I'm the brownfield administrator. The facility manager reports to our office. I oversee the assessor, and we do the Ramsdale back office at least for a few more months until that gets transitioned over. Just some metrics for our office. We have about up to 125 customers per day at the window. We issue 7,100 tax bills each year. Collect about 14.4 million in taxes and distribute that to all the taxing jurisdictions. We issue 42,000 water bills. We make about 2,500 accounts payable payments on 5,600 invoices, approximately $25 million. And we field lots and lots of phone calls and emails, obviously. Just some highlights of the current year. Obviously, the fiscal year 25 audit was presented. It was clean, so we're proud of that. And then we adopted a very challenging 2027 budget back in May. We renewed the VC3 contract, which is our IT provider, which is a really good thing to get behind us. It had lapsed a year. We just did a continuation because of some health issues, so it was nice to get that one completed. We installed a new boat launch machine right at the end of the boating season last year. It really didn't get a chance to go through its paces, but it's been working very well this year. Had a couple little hiccups right at the beginning, but nothing but positive feedback on that, so that's a nice upgrade for the boaters. And then you can see that picture there. We installed a new harbor webcam that's on our website. It kind of looks out over the mouth of the channel where it comes in and where Harbor Village comes in and the Coast Guard station. That's been very popular. Coming attractions, pleased to report that we're going to finally be updating the wireless network backbone that we've been looking at to do for 3 to 4 years. We just haven't found a vendor that's been able to do it, but we found one. They're relatively local out of Ludington, so that should be happening this summer, which is long overdue and will give me a lot more comfort that that system isn't going to have a failure because a lot of the equipment is aged out. As part of that, we're likely to put one more webcam up on the top of the industrial water tower looking down the coastline, which will be very cool if we can make that happen. It's a pretty inexpensive part of the project. Obviously, I mentioned Laura's retiring, so we'll be working through that. We're already doing cross-training, and we'll be doing a little departmental restructuring because of that. So moving on, talked a little bit about the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. We have a 5-member board, Kate Burridge, Megan Kempf, Nick Lucina, Shelley Memberto, and Roger Yoder is the chair. I'm the Brownfield administrator, and we work very closely with Kirk Perschbacher from Fishbeck, who is our consultant, and he does a very nice job for us. What is a brownfield? You've probably seen this before, but I'll just kind of run through it. It's basically properties that the redevelopment or reuse is really challenging because of the presence of environmental contamination. However, they've expanded the Brownfield Act a lot over the years. It also could be a functionally obsolete property that has no contamination. Could be, they're typically formal industrial manufacturing sites and found in older communities as opposed to newer townships. These properties are very expensive to redevelop. Often they need several different incentives stacked upon each other to be able to make that work. And often they've been vacant for a long period of time. Classic example, Hotel Northern. How long did that building sit vacant before it got redeveloped? So it's a very effective program. Why do we have it? Well, it can re-energize our local economies. I think we've clearly seen that in Manistee with the amount of developer interest, and that really didn't happen until we kind of did our first major brownfield project, which was the South Washington, the brewery and the apartments. And then it's a very small developer community in the state of Michigan. They talk, they had a good experience. Other developers come, they show interest, they have a good experience, and it just breeds upon itself. So I think that's kudos to everybody involved, city council, all the department heads, and the city's ability to want to help these developers do things. It can improve neighborhoods, and it also protects environmental health if you're removing contaminated soils or asbestos in the buildings or what have you. So there's a lot of really good incentives. We're still waiting to do our first housing brownfield, but that'll be a real game changer because obviously the need for affordable housing and for the missing middle market, it's really hard to get to that without incentives, and now we can do that through brownfield. So it'll be nice when we get that first project. Current city brownfields, the Gateway Project, 141 Washington Street, the old Hotel Northern, 9194 Arthur Street where the Wander Inn is, obviously the Hampton Inn, and obviously the South Washington area. We also have Joslyn Cove, but that's a county brownfield project. Just a quick overview of a couple of the ones that we have currently. Obviously, the Gateway project has been, we've been waiting patiently for that. There was a groundbreaking in the spring of 2026. We're going to get the Act 381 work plan approved by Eagle, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. They just had a few more comments on that. And hopefully some soil remediation can start here in the late summer, beyond what they've already done. So keeping the fingers crossed on that one. 141 Washington Street, I went online and looks like they've branded that as the Old Northern, which I hadn't heard before. That's kind of cool. And they've got a lot of information out on that website. They're actually taking inquiries for the buildings and the commercial spaces. So if anybody's looking for an apartment or wants some commercial space, I'd encourage them to go look at that and see what they have. Moving on from here, we're going to talk about the Oil and Gas Investment Board. The Oil and Gas Fund is a pretty unique asset that the city of Manistee has. I'm really proud that we've been able to grow that over the last 25 years and really turn it into something that the city would be difficult to operate as we are without having that, because it does fund just a really lot of our capital improvements. And past councils had the foresight to protect that, and we've built upon that legacy, and it's been working very well. We've had about $7.4 million in distribution since 2008. And to put that in perspective, the value of the fund in 2008 was only about $7 million. Today, that fund sets at $15 million. So not only have we over doubled the fund, we've spent $7.4 million for capital projects because of the way we've been managing it. The Oil and Gas Board is Mayor Sullivan, myself, Councilmember Lasky, and then Doug Parks and Jeff Rowe. And then Bill Gamble is city manager ex officio. Kelly is our recording secretary, and we meet quarterly. We've had some issues with the people that actually operate the wells and the production facility that's up on North Washington Street. Previously, it was, way back, it was Aztec. And then Aztec changed hands, but they kept the name, and then Aztec sold to Hound, and then Hound sold to Asher Oil, which was on July 1, 2024. And we haven't had any royalty payments on production since that took place. But we were finally, after a lot of back and forth, able to, hopefully we're gonna get paid out by the end of July. What happened was the person that owns Asher Oil hired somebody to run the company, and it wasn't working out, so they kind of let them go, and they brought in some folks from Hound Resources to help them kind of get back to current and get things sorted out. So they paid their delinquent personal property taxes, which was helpful, and I just exchanged emails today, and she's hoping to get some checks out. She said by the end of June, but I'm saying until by the end of July. The city attorney's been involved, and we have a letter ready to go to take the next legal steps if we need be, but I'm giving them a little bit more rope to try to see if we can get paid. So I'm optimistic that that's going to happen. If members of the public are watching, I've had lots of inquiries because there are a lot of royalty holders, even though they may be quite small, but that asheroil@outlook.com is the email address for people to email if they have questions. The Oil and Gas Fund is managed by Bartlett. The main portfolio manager is Woody Ubel, and then he's assisted by Jonathan Finkler and Brian Walker. The portfolio is about 70% equities, 25% fixed income, 5% cash, and we have a trailing 10-year return of about 8.1%, which is pretty good given that we're not an all equity fund and we're certainly not an aggressive equity fund, so we do have fixed income in there. Snapshot as of March 31st, 26. Last year when I presented this, the balance of the Oil and Gas Fund was about $14 million. As of March 31st, it was $15.1 million. So obviously there's been some stuff with the Persian Gulf. It went down. It's come back up, and if we looked at this today, it would probably be above 15.1 million. But you can just see that we've had really tremendous growth in that since 2008, and it's funded capital improvements. And we're just about at our target asset allocation too, which is to be expected given the run-up that we've had in equities. So with that, do you have any questions about the Finance Treasurer Department or the Brownfield Authority or the Oil and Gas function?
Are we gonna make any money now with, they're saying gas is gonna get cheaper, are we gonna lose money like we did before? Years ago?
Well, we're not getting paid the royalties right now, so we will get money, and every month, you know, the values that they can sell the oil and gas for are reflected on our royalty statements. Those will go up and down. So once we start getting those royalties back, we'll obviously look at them very closely, but, you know, if the price of gas stays up, we tend to get more money in royalties. But remember, a lot of what's coming out of those wells is natural gas and natural gas liquids. There's not that much oil, although there is some coming out of there.
On the brownfield, we received money for like the Gateway project. You're the custodian of the money. Is there an expiration date on that? I mean, does it have to be used by a certain time or?
Well, I mean, the brownfield plan, I think for Gateway is 25 or 30 years. Or no, I guess, I'm sorry, take that back. Gateway was 20 years. The North Washington is 30 years. So each brownfield plan has its own duration, and they schedule out all the estimated taxes and the eligible expenses and the estimated collection. So obviously, if those estimates aren't perfect, if we collect more money, we pay off the eligible costs earlier, that brownfield plan will likely end earlier. It can't go longer than what was in the plan, though.
So we're probably how many years into the Gateway? Are we?
No, because we don't have approval from the state on the Act 381 work plan yet, and there's been no eligible costs put in, so I'll have to look back and see, but we haven't distributed any money, we haven't captured any taxes on the Gateway yet.
Okay.
So once we start doing that, then, you know, they'll have their period to work that through. But that's gonna be a complicated one. They've got to pay back the Eagle grant loan. Those payments are gonna come due relatively soon. You know, we're gonna probably have to do an extension. So there's still moving pieces, but it's a big, complicated $90+ million project that's to be expected. And so we'll work through the different aspects as we need to.
And did they give you, did the oil company give how much they do owe us for the past?
No, I don't think she knows. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be $50,000 plus minus, but that's just kind of a guess on my part, so.
Did she say, will we get one payment or is that gonna be distributed?
She did not say. Yeah, I don't think they do that. I think they might issue one check, but they have to get every monthly statement. So they do it monthly, right? So they've got to make sure all the monthly statements are correct for all the hundreds of royalty holders and make sure it all ties out and balances and what have you. So it's kind of an involved process, but I'm hopeful. This lady that I'm working with has been trustworthy in the past, and I don't see any reason why she won't be, you know, in the future. She's a pretty straight shooter. She knows what she's doing, so.
Good.
Thank you.
You mentioned bond this year,
Mhm.
and is it for the upcoming construction on 31? Some of the
That's part of it. It'll be a water and sewer revenue bond. It'll be for funding that, as well as some sewer projects, and there's some additional water main projects. We're actually having another meeting next week to kind of finalize, and I'll put that in quotes, the list of projects and the estimated costs, so we can know how we want to size the bond. Build some contingency in there, and then we'll start that process. And so, you know, over the next 3 to 4 months, once we get that going, then we'll go through that bond process. There'll be a lot of approvals for council. There'll be a lot of items that are coming in front, but we work with our financial advisor and our bond counsel from Miller Canfield to kind of work through that process. And it'll be a revenue bond, but it'll be paid for by the revenues of the water and sewer utility.
When the Ramsdale goes on their own completely, will they still be required, are they going to give you monthly statements? Will you still oversee that somewhat for us?
Well, I mean, if council wanted me to oversee it, they would have left the accounting with the city, so I'm not gonna be overseeing it. I'm not on that board anymore. We will have access to their books and records, because they want that, so we can, if they run into some snags, we can look at that. We're still gonna be involved because it's our building. Mark Hansen we still provide in-kind services. We still are gonna be paying for the utilities, so there is gonna be oversight, but what the RRCA is doing on their stuff in terms of their ticket sales, I won't have the insight into that because I'm not gonna be looking at that stuff daily because I don't need to. So we'll get financial statements and stuff, but the day-to-day accounting we are turning over to them to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Seth. Okay, citizens comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Ready? Mr. Campbell, you have anything?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Ms. Rosga?
A while back, like, when we had a meeting on the budget with Mr. Bradford, you mentioned a desire to change the current process for water and sewer billings. And I guess I'm just wondering if there's been any, like how shut-offs are handled and so on. And if there's been any progress on that.
So we're working through the water shut-off policy. The ordinance has already been changed, and we're working through that. I don't have a draft of it yet, but we expect to have something by the end of the summer. Yeah, thank you.
And I guess a reminder that on June 18th is the annual Parks Tour. If council's interested, and I think other people got invitations. And then I guess the last thing is I've been hearing a lot of misinformation regarding the fire department. And, you know, it's too bad people aren't critically thinking things through and going after facts. One of the ones I heard is somebody asked me why city council hates the fire department. Now, I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't think I hate the fire department. So I just kind of want to get that out there, that there's a lot of misinformation, and I hope people do their research instead of just believing that. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Grabowski.
Okay, Bill, I was thinking about today, the cable channel, are we gonna get that back on? When Barry was there, he said sometime around June, July.
Okay. And Tom's on the PEG commission, so I'll see if he has an update for us.
Yeah, so the PEG Commission, we met this past Monday, and the latest on that is Charter Communication. They have all the stuff installed into the new elementary school. They implemented the test, which it's a week-long test that they're going through now, and they hope to have it back online within the next 2 months.
Oh, wow.
So it's looking good. It was real positive information.
Inside.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything else, Jim?
Yeah, did we do anything with that building downtown, Bill, with that water leaking in the basement?
I can ask
I know
Mr.
Jeff-
McCula.
My staff has been there several times. It looks like there's water seeping in through the foundation walls. We're not aware of any water lines that are leaking exterior to the building. It seems to happen after rain events. I did this week email the owner and suggested some processes that we've used. Basically, we had a building at the treatment plant that was doing the same thing. Groundwater was getting in through the wall, and we used a process where you inject. It's a crystalline material, and as this material comes in contact with water, it actually forms crystals, and it keeps growing and growing and growing, and it sealed that problem that had been going on for a number of years. Since that time, we've used it in several locations, and wet wells and lift stations, with a lot of success. So I passed that information on to the owner. Just as long as I'm up here though, we have noticed that the intersection of River Street and Maple seems to drain slower than what it has in the past. So we did do some investigation, and we found that there was a little bit of a blockage. We had put some cabling in through the storm sewer to get from one side of River Street to the other. When the Sleigh Bell Festival was being televised, and we would pull the cables through there so we could get from one street to the other. Some of that broke loose. We've removed that. We're televising the outfall of that just to make sure everything else is in good shape, but we're not aware of how the city could be impacting that building.
I noticed after you had pulled that through, it flooded again down there.
Yeah, so we're working to try to televise it. We've never put eyes on that outfall. It goes underneath the south abutment to the bridge. We've tried to put our camera in there, but it's submerged, so we tried a local contractor's camera. They didn't have much success. When I say it's submerged, the outfall of the pipe is below the water level in the river, so it's flooded. I just had a meeting this afternoon with Spicer. what do you call it? They have an underwater remote drone called Nemo. And so we're going to look at trying to get that up the pipe and be able to televise and just to make sure that there's no issues with that. So,
Oh, good,
Thanks, Jeff.
thank you.
Ms. Keck?
I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Lasky?
Jeff, I think this one might be for you too. Just clarification on the, what do you call them, the grass clipping bags. When are those, what's the policy? When are those picked up? What date? They're put them in the bags?
so the yard waste bags are picked up every Tuesday. And we
Okay.
go citywide with those. So we go street by street, pick those up, and that material gets taken out and composted into new topsoil.
And then what about the brush? People, are they still, they're not supposed to call anymore, correct? Or are we still supposed to call if you have brush that needs to be picked up?
That's a complex question. For a number of years, many years ago, and I recall City Council was concerned that we were going street by street and picking up brush, and they were concerned that that was a tremendous resource and drain on our resources and time. So council created, I believe, a policy that required residents to call in, and then as you call in and say, I've got brush at my address, we would create a list, and based on that list, then we would know whether or not the crew would be able to pick all that brush up on Friday, whether we needed to go a little early on Thursday, whether we schedule a crew for Monday to finish that up. Several years ago, council was then concerned that we were passing brush piles. We were going from one that called in to another one that got called in, and there'd be one in the middle that didn't call in or wasn't on the list, and we were passing that. So council was concerned with that, and they asked that when we pass those brush piles, we stop and pick them up anyway. And then, as a educational tool, we created door hangers. And so when we picked up a brush pile that wasn't on the list because it wasn't called in, we would go up and put a door hanger on the door. So that's currently what we're doing. And what my crews have responded with is there are more people not calling now than are calling. And where we're hanging the door hangers, people aren't using that as an education tool. They're just not calling, they just know that we're gonna come and pick those up.
What did the door hangers say? What is the, I mean, kind of a gist of the,
I couldn't quote it, but it basically explains what the policy and the program is, and then lists the phone number and.
so you would prefer, is that what you're saying? You'd prefer if they do still call it in, correct? And call it in prior to, if they want it picked up on Friday, it should be called in by Thursday at the latest, or how do you, are you already scheduling for Thursday? What's the call-in date?
What we're finding is that because there's so many people that are not calling in, and we don't know how much is out there necessarily, so as we're picking up all those extra piles, we're not getting through the city on a Friday. So by Monday, when Mr. Smith had called in last week and got on the list as they should, but his pile didn't get picked up, they're calling and they're getting upset that, well, I did it right and you didn't pick mine up. And we don't want to tell them, well, because we're picking up everybody else that didn't do it, per procedure. So it's becoming a very taxing. We actually did about 2/3 of the city today when we were doing yard waste. There's a lot of yard waste out there right now. The rain helps that. And so we had the crew make a list of all of the brush piles that they saw out there. And this isn't the whole town. We still have to do the center section. So basically, from First Street, Maple Street, East, isn't included on that list, but there's probably over 100 brush piles that we found, and we only have 42 on the list for Friday at this point.
How are you picking up the leaf bags?
We're going street by street
On Tuesday,
on Tuesday.
with no
We can't do something like that for the brush, like you do sections or something?
We can do street by street, but that takes a crew of 2 people, and it'll take 3 days a week for that. So that takes a lot of our resources.
But you can't do sections, like, hey, this Thursday, we're gonna do section over here, this Thursday, we're gonna do section over
We
here.
could, but we'd have to break it in.
Sitting there anyway, so what's the difference if it sits there a week or 3 days? I mean, That would be easier than trying to figure out who's calling, who's not calling.
Right, when you commit to doing a section, say we broke the city into 3 sections, and so that's committing that crew to 3 days of work, which is more than the day and a half that we have been for many years.
And hopefully there won't be 3 days. I mean, and this has been a bad year. I mean, everybody knows that deadwood has fallen out, trees have fallen, so this has been an exceptionally bad year. And then people don't like to see it. If they put it out Friday and it gets missed, and then it's there over the weekend, people get upset. And then, you know, then the question is, so you're saying that if it's missed on Friday, they do continue on Monday? It's not like you wait till the next Friday?
Right.
Okay.
And Mr. McCool and I have discussed too that yard waste pickup group, just kind of making a list when they see a brush pile out and submitting that as well. It's kind of a catch-all.
But the people should call. Is that
Whatever the
what you're
program,
saying? Let the people call.
yeah, whatever the public or the city council determines is the program, we just need to stay with the program and be consistent.
Yes.
And it's gone back and forth over the years. For me personally, our job is to pick that up, and people really appreciate that service. But the more we can anticipate and I can schedule resources, the better off we perform.
Well, I think maybe in the paper, if we even just mention if people would, the preferred way is to still to call, you know, but you are not going to pass, you're not going to pass a brush in between, but the very preferred way is so you know that it's fair to the DPW to know ahead. So thank you. I think
Anything else, Liz?
that's it.
Mr. Smith?
I'm all set, thank you.
I don't have anything. We will not be back until after July 4th, so hopefully everybody has a nice 4th. Motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.